Hello and howdy. Welcome to episode number 2 of JavaScript Girl in a .NET World. Cannot tell you how excited I am to be here. Seriously, this has been a series I've long wanted to do, and now that I am a glorious PC owner, yes, I've entered the wonderful world of Windows for the first time. So I'm able to do this show. So last week I had Sam on with me, and he was going over the wonderful world of desktop development, specifically in regards to WinUI. And I really, really enjoyed not only having like a backstory of and like a history of where did that come from. Hey, there's my guest. But it was really cool to like get started with my first WinUI desktop app. And so today I'm really, really pumped to see kind of another view of the .NET world with Ed here. He's going to be teaching me a little bit about Blazor, and I'm hoping we can get a history of and start our very first Blazor app here. And then next week I will have Jeff Fritz on. So yes, awesome. But Ed, welcome. Hello. Hi.
Sorry I was late. StreamYard said it couldn't connect to my devices. I don't know what that was all about. So when in doubt, reboot your stuff. Right?
Last week I was just like, my monitor would not recognize the computer. I'd switch it over to the Xbox and it was like working, and I'm like so I totally feel you. Welcome, Ed. Hello. I'm so excited to be, I was sharing with the audience, entering this wonderful world of .NET fun. And I'm really, okay, so I don't know if you can beat the experience I had with WinUI. I don't, just because it was so much fun, right? Like, yeah, I know, I see your face, and it feels like it doesn't quite believe me, maybe.
So maybe it won't be as exciting because it'll be so familiar. It's so easy.
So I really, can you tell me a little bit about, well, first of all, how old is Blazor? Where did it come from?
Give me just a second, and I actually have some visuals we can use here. Let me find this. So,
hello to everyone in the chat.
It'd be handy
as well.
to understand how Blazor works inside. All right, here we go. So I have the PowerPoints.
I'm so excited.
All the PowerPoints. I know you're getting excited about PowerPoint. That's not
I really want to know. I want to know where it came from, what it's used for, why it's called Blazor. I mean, all the important questions, right?
There we go. Let me reorganize my tabs.
Did you make this gorgeous slide?
Actually, I borrowed that one from Microsoft. So Blazor is your traditional SPA framework. So it's client-side rendered app development for the web. And there are some special things about Blazor that makes it work the way it does. And one of those things is that it uses .NET all the way through it. So it relies on something called WebAssembly to do that. Now, you don't ever have to touch WebAssembly, Alyssa. You don't have to know anything about WebAssembly. You're not going to be writing WebAssembly. It's just handy to know that it's there, and it makes the .NET bits work. But Blazor's about 3 years old. It's been, the first year was probably in beta most of that year. So it's a pretty fresh framework. It's been in production for about 2 years. Yeah. Okay. But it has all the things that you would expect from something like Angular or React. So it's not missing anything. You can build full apps in it. It doesn't feel like there's parts that are completely gone and you need to fill in with some other framework until it catches up or anything. Everything's there. So we've got dependency injection, a really awesome component model, debugging, client-side routing, unit testing. We won't go into assembly trimming and stuff. That's kind of like tree shaking in JavaScript.
Oh.
But it does that automatically too. We won't deal with server-side rendering today, but it's there. Forms and validation are super easy. You saw a little bit of that one day. Layouts are easy.
Is this all in the aspect of the web?
Yes.
Okay. Because like there's
talk.
Blazor outside of web too.
There is.
So I feel like we're
muddy the situation too much today. But Blazor can run all over the place.
Okay.
So there is a client and a server side Blazor.
Also, Aztec was asking about WASM. I'm pretty sure that's the correct way to pronounce the WebAssembly acronym.
I think it should be WASM.
What?
That's
okay.
like
so
Shazam,
you're saying,
but with a W.
You're saying it can run everywhere, but you don't want to talk about it because that is bad.
I just don't want to confuse the whole situation.
Okay,
so Blazor's kind of like React. I don't know if Angular can do this. You can fill me in if it does, but there's like not like this hard tie-in to the web, and you can swap out the DOM with something else. And React does that with React Native, and Blazor can do this with other things as well. So it can do like mobile apps and desktop apps and whatever you want to swap that front end out with. And then there's a whole new thing called Blazor Hybrid that does a whole other type.
What does that do?
Like, it's very similar to the server-side rendering, but it lets you build native desktop apps with web technologies. So
okay, well, so doesn't that kind of sound like you're retrofitting a technology to do more than it was originally intended to do? Like,
it's kind of like Electron, really, more than anything. It's very similar to Electron. So that's kind of like coming in the future. It's not really here yet. The demos work, but they're kind of error prone. So we're not going to deal with that today.
Could you, in a very unbiased way, tell me why Blazor is so popular?
Sure. So give me a second here. I will do that.
I'm so excited to get the juicy deets.
I don't know if there's a good unbiased way to do it because it's a very biased reason.
Oh.
So if I pull this guy back a little bit, there. Nope, that's not it.
Also, I'm slurping some espresso iced. What's everyone in the chat slurping? And Ed, do you have your water?
I am on water right now, but I'll be grabbing some lunch after this. But the reason to use Blazor is because of .NET generally. So if you're in the JavaScript world and use NPM packages and you'll know how to configure Webpack and you're a TypeScript or JavaScript guru, then there's probably not a whole lot of reason to use Blazor. But if you're .NET dev and you like your .NET Nuget packages, I know you love that word.
Nugget.
Nuggets. If you love your nuggets and you know that MS Build is effortless, you don't have to configure it like you do Webpack, and you like to write C# because it has errors that don't come in the text of undefined and nothing else. And you have strong types and really good error checking through a compiler and all of that stuff, then Blazor is probably the thing that you want.
Okay, question. I see there's a C# bit here. Mm-hmm. Is there a C++ version?
No, you can only write Blazor in C# right now. You can technically use other stuff like you could use VB and F# indirectly by compiling those into .NET standard libraries, but that's kind of a stretch to say that you can use those to make Blazor apps. Right now, it's just C#.
Okay.
So, we want to talk about how it works. Did it stop my screen share?
It did.
It did, didn't it?
It stopped your screen share.
Why did it do that? Why did it do that? Try that again.
Mackie is drinking Mountain Dew Watermelon Zero. I think you're making that beverage up. Just saying, that sounds totally.
So bubbly makes a good watermelon drink. I like that one.
Is this a thing now? Watermelon beverages?
Yeah.
This is a.
So in my opinion, it tastes more like cucumber in a good way than it does watermelon. But if you think about it,
I'm sorry, but cucumber in a drink is only in a spa, right?
Well, cucumbers and watermelons are in the same family. They're
Oh my
buddies.
goodness. What kind of ridiculous
If you
agricultural
think about it,
nonsense are you spreading?
a watermelon, if you look at the watermelon and the cucumber on the outside, they're both green and stripy, and then on the inside, they're about the same. They're just
Ed knows all.
they're
Oh,
friends. They're cousins.
absolutely not. Also, Nin Posek is drinking JPJP, which I don't know what that is. So someone can translate for me. Sounds exciting. But anyways, back to you, Ed.
Blazor. All right. So if we look at, oh my gosh, why is this giving me so much trouble? There we go. If we look at a old school JavaScript app, we would load our JavaScript into the browser, and the browser parses that JavaScript. The parser is similar to the compiler in some ways, but then that parser turns it into something that the compiler inside the browser understands. The compiler turns that into like the abstract syntax tree, all that good computer sciencey stuff happens, and it becomes bytecode. So that code that you write interfaces with the DOM and does all the JavaScripty things. You click a button and it updates something or draws something on the screen. Makes charts and graphs and grids and all that good stuff. So WebAssembly is directly using bytecode in the browser. So we're circumventing that parser and compiler. So we don't really need it anymore.
But people write WebAssembly, so like, how could if someone's writing in WebAssembly, you're saying they're writing at like the ones and zeros level? Like what?
So we don't write those ones and zeros directly, even though you could probably do that through something called WebAssembly text. I think it's a WAT file, W-A-T, and that can be translated easily into WASM. But that's, again, not something we really need to know today. You'd never really need to know that for Blazor. So what's happened here is you can compile things outside the browser now because you're not relying on JavaScript and the JavaScript compiler to do it internally. So I can use other things to make WebAssembly. So like I could use C++ or other programming languages like Rust and make bytecode that the browser can understand. So what Microsoft did is they took WebAssembly and the .NET Runtime and compiled the .NET Runtime to WebAssembly and shipped that to the browser and put Blazor on top of it. So now you use your normal C# code to make .NET apps, which are DLL files that the browser can now read because it has the .NET Runtime running on WebAssembly inside of it. Cool?
What is the .NET Runtime?
The .NET Runtime is the thing that interprets all of the .NET code, all of the .NET assemblies into application code that the machine can understand.
I'm still a little fuzzy on the term .NET because I feel like there's like a lot that's like, oh, that's .NET. Like when you say the lost
the express version of computer science stuff.
Thank you.
No, back in the day, a long time ago, when you wanted to write computer code, you had to write it to a specific platform, to that CPU, even at that level. So you'd write computer code for like an x86 processor. So there were these ideas of creating a virtual machine that can run across multiple different types of processors. So we had the Java virtual machine, JVM. There is the .NET Runtime, which is a virtualized type of environment like this. So they can target multiple CPUs without you having to individually compile your app for every processor architecture out there. So the .NET Runtime is kind of this intermediate runtime that can run on many different machines. And so
you would say it's fair to assume that when people are like using the term .NET, or even like back in the day where .NET came from and had its origin stories, it was all like desktop-y or built for a machine type thing, not necessarily web? Like, is this the first adventure of .NET into web?
Yes. So
Kind of.
normally the .NET runtime runs on an operating system like Windows. And it had its start in Windows, and it ran on Windows desktops and servers. And then with .NET Core, they're like, we're going to go ahead and write this so it can run on Linux and Mac as well. And then it's gone into pretty much every space everywhere. So embedded systems, you can put it on a Raspberry Pi. You can run it
Really?
on a television. You can run .NET almost everywhere now.
Okay. I see. So this actually is the first, you said, that like thing that has .NET runtime in the web.
You could run web applications from the server before, but you couldn't run client-side code. So you'd run .NET to generate HTML on the server, hand that down to the browser, and then you'd rely on like jQuery or something.
You see what Smab said?
The interactive bits. I don't have that.
Oh, no worries. Smab said that it's not the first for web, but the first running in the browser. It always had ASP.NET.
Yep, that's the same thing I said, just differently. But we're all on the same page here.
I think you might have answered it, but Mackie earlier asked, does Blazor actually run using WebAssembly, or are they different?
Does Blazor actually run using WebAssembly? Blazor on the client runs on top of WebAssembly. So your application code is not compiled to WebAssembly, but the .NET runtime is. And your .NET code runs on top of that runtime. So there are some future plans to let you compile your code directly to WebAssembly, but that comes in .NET 6, and it's known as AOT.
You're welcome,
Makes it
Mackie.
run faster.
Great question.
But again, it's pretty much out of scope for what we're going to try to do today.
Okay. You know how in last week, my first adventure into the .NETs, I was doing a WinUI app, and there was like a code behind file that was behind my template-y type file. Is Blazor kind of structured the same way, or is it totally different?
No, we can do that kind of stuff in Blazor. Do you want to start a project?
Yes.
Right.
Are you not scared? Okay, he doesn't seem scared.
Go ahead and
we'll go ahead and
your screen in your Visual Studios.
All right, I'm gonna wait. Which one?
Let's do Visual Studio, not code.
2019.
2019.
Okay,
yes.
I'm opening that.
And if you have Visual Studio Preview, I would suggest staying on your regular 2019 for now. Leave the .NET 6 bits alone until they get a little more mature. I had a meetup last night, and I was like, I'll use Preview and all the new stuff, and it bit me hard.
Okay, wait. Create a new project, or do I do something totally outside of?
Create a new project.
All right. I'm worried that everything's not going to be downloaded. This one?
Yep.
Yeah?
Blazor. Yep. You're all good.
Like if I search for a Blazor, is there only one option?
There is two options.
Oh.
So there is the Blazor server app and the Blazor WebAssembly app. Blazor server's interesting, but most people are gravitating towards. I was trying to say towards and didn't finish saying gravitating. Gravitating towards Blazor WebAssembly. They have trade-offs, and I think we should probably just stick with WebAssembly for now, and we can talk another time about what the difference between the two is.
Okay, project name. My first. Wait, what is it? Yes, Blazor app, and we're happy with that. Place solution and project files in the same directory? Question mark.
You're fine. You can just hit next.
Just hit next. Oh, also, people get triggered when I don't hide that.
We're seeing the StreamYard screen too.
I can make it go away like that. I just assume
screen.
I can make it. I can share just this one, but I assumed we'd have like. Are we not going to like have a local post or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll have an app.
Here, I'm
That's
going to
fine.
share just this for now because I have no preferences of what's happening in our lives right now.
We can share both. Okay, that'll work.
And
No, drop down that framework. Drop down there.
sorry, I'm trying to make this bigger. I'm pretty bad at the whole Windows. Okay, so drop down to what framework?
Target framework should be .NET 5. There you go. Current.
Long-term support current.
Yeah, so .NET 3 is an older version, but they have long-term support availability for it. It's a whole IT thing. We're not going to do authentication. Go ahead and leave that off. Let's not even put a host on this one. Let's focus on just making the web portion of it work.
What is host?
ASP.NET Core Hosted will give you a web API project as well. So you can write, like you can have a database and write web endpoints and connect to data and all that stuff. Let's just work on front end today.
What does the progressive web app option add to your app?
You can check that box. It makes it a PWA. Go ahead and make it a PWA.
I'm so excited. Okay, wait, I pressed the button. Oh, it's so exciting. Okay, can you still see it? Because it did things.
No, I guess you're sharing an app instead of just a desktop. If you do
I will share this, and it will show you the gloriousness.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
The glory. Okay.
Now, if you run the app and stuff, we'll be able to see it as well.
What's going on down here?
So
what's this about?
Just like when you run a JavaScript app, you have to do npm install and stuff comes down from npm.
Mm-hmm.
When you create your Blazor project for the first time, .NET will automatically call out to Nuget and get your Nuget packages through Package Manager and install those things.
Oh, so it's not is this application running somewhere or no?
It's not running yet. If you want to click the run button up at the top.
The play?
Yep. You click on that.
IIS Express. Sounds like we're going into space. What the
So that is a server on JavaScript.
No.
What is...
no.
That's fine.
Okay.
Would you like yes?
Oh.
Yeah, hit yes again. It's creating a certificate so it can do HTTPS. And go ahead and hit allow.
What?
I mean, only ask you this once.
It's bizarre because you don't do things like this with JavaScript apps. So I don't.
You probably do, but it's a bunch of running 17,000 CLI commands to make it happen.
Okay. Okay, so this is already a lot more than WinUI gives you from scratch.
Yep, ship it. We're done. We can go home.
I mean, WinUI gives you a button.
You have a button on the counter page. And you can click it.
This isn't a competition. Okay, wait. I want to see. Oh, so this is what's happening live?
That is a performance analyzer, which you could essentially turn off unless you're building a giant project and you need to performance tune it.
When you say turn off, do you mean just close it with the X?
Yeah, you could just close it.
Or is there an off button?
It's actually kind of hard to turn off, so just hit the close button and it'll put it off your screen.
Okay.
It's a really fantastic tool, but when you're doing demos, it's so unnecessary.
What is this about? Is this our tree structure? What is this?
No, this is just kind of a start page. It's just telling you things that you can do. It's kind of like a hello world welcome thing. It's more just advertising services that you can use with .NET stuff. So you can just close that.
Oh, okay.
Now, over on the right-hand side, you have your Solution Explorer, which I know you're probably used to having on the left.
That's
and
weird.
You could totally drag that to the other side if you want.
Good Lord. It got all massive.
There you go. It'll snap in. Now, you were talking to Sam the other day about font size. And there was one you guys totally missed.
Where?
So if you go to...
Because it's pretty teeny tiny.
So in Visual Studio, there was a magic search bar. See the little search box up at the top?
Yeah. Is this kind of
and
like
everything.
this magic search bar down here?
Yes. So anything and everything in Visual Studio has the ability to be searched. So there you go. Change font size.
Wait, which one? This one?
First one. Yep. And that will take you to the font size. Now, there are 2 font settings in here you need to be aware of. There's the text editor, which is where you type your code, and then there is the IDE, the environment around the text editor.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
on the text editor dropdown,
This one.
no, the first box on the page.
You
Okay, choose environment.
I'm going to type it. Environment. Yes.
There you go. Now, change the
no.
font from automatic to
Calibri.
It's the default is Sigio or I don't know how do they pronounce it, but it's SEGOE.
Print script UI.
UI. There you go. Now change your font size to like 12 and hit OK. 14's fine too. And everything got bigger.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You fixed it. Okay. You know how on your Mac you can do Command plus to like, and like the whole window, like everything, like is that a thing here or is that not a thing here?
No.
So
Yeah,
don't
we
do
don't
that.
get
Okay,
that.
cool. Gotcha.
There's a tool that I'll show you later on that you can install to do like the zooming and annotations that I always do, the fancy
Yes.
like drawing on the
Yes.
screen stuff.
Yeah.
We can install that later on.
Okay.
So in your Solution Explorer,
What the heck is this? This stresses me out.
that's if you want to add like Azure-y stuff. You don't have to really worry about that. Dependencies is important. So if you want to add like Nuget packages and things to your project, so instead
Okay.
of going to a console and typing npm install,
That's what I was looking for. I
whatever
was
the
like, let's
thing
type
is-
Nuget install.
so you can go to dependencies and right click on dependencies.
Right click here.
Yep, and add or manage Nuget package. It's running, so it's grayed out. But that's where
you can't-
add.
You can't do that while it's running.
No,
That's
it will
weird.
not let you add
How
packages
do I
while it runs.
stop
You
it?
can either
from-
stop it from in there with the little stop button at the top underneath the word extensions. Yeah. So now go back.
Yeah. This is what I was looking for. Look, I bet you anything. There's some sort of. Wait, I can't type here.
No, it's not a console. It's an output. It says output right on the tab, young lady.
Fine. We right click and we say manage NuGet
Manage
packages.
Nuget packages, and we have an actual UI to install our dependencies. So you can go to browse and you can search for things to add to your project.
Wait, hang on. I'm a little overwhelmed. Can we add dependencies of our own on here? And how long does it take to show up?
You can publish things to Nuget through the Nuget app or the Nuget website, but not through here. This is for consumption. So this is to browse and install things into your app.
Right.
So this
So
is
like
your
if we wanted to
your
make like
replacement for
an
NPM
Ed and
install.
Alyssa package and we wanted to publish it through NuGet and we like do that online, like is that like a rigorous process? Do you have to have like a license that you pay for to do that?
No, it's almost as easy as putting things up on NPM.
Okay.
I
So
would say
here,
maybe easier in some respects.
can you give me is there like a something I can install just to like, nope.
Oh, you don't. Let's see. On the package source side, so our Telerik repos aren't on the main Nuget, the Nuget service. They are on a private one. So under package source on the right-hand side, click on the drop down and see if you have that. Okay, you don't have our Telerik stuff installed. So we'll do that another time.
Okay, we'll do that another time, but can you explain to me what you're talking about? Because there's really only one NPM source.
So no, you can have private NPM sources as well.
You can?
Yes, we actually did that with Kendo UI at first.
Yeah.
And JavaScript developers were like, I don't know what you're doing.
Well, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
What is this? Fortunately, .NET developers know that this is a thing, and
Okay.
they're not as confused by it. So it's
Okay,
a
so
little
if
bit
you
more
have
acceptable.
things that are like umbrellaed over here and not on the main Nuget.org, you have to like install something so that it shows up in your package source?
Yeah, so there's a little gear on the side. We actually do this automatically for you when you
Oh.
install our installers.
Mhm.
They will put the NuGet package source in here for you. But
Okay.
you can add. What's nice about this UI that you've got up is you can create a NuGet package locally on your machine and point it at a folder as a source.
Oh.
So if you're like in a small office and you want to share, you could put it on a shared drive and say, this is our private NuGet storage for all of our NuGet packages for our company, and they could all point there, and everybody at the company can pull their private NuGet feeds in.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's very
Okay.
nice.
Okay. So this is what's on the main one then? Is it really just these three that's
No,
offered
this
here?
is what's installed, and
Oh.
if you go over to browse, I can show you a
Yes.
package that I've got up there.
Okay.
So if you type in
Hey, I know
SpinKit
that
in-
name.
Yeah, Chris has been on our Blazing into Summer, and he blogs for us and stuff. He's a really awesome Blazor guru. If you go up to search and you search for just that might work, but put Blazor Pro in there, and that'll bring up some of my stuff. So I have a Blazor Pro namespace. I have Blazor component utilities. I have Blazor size. I have SpinKit. Those are all my NuGet packages that I've published to the NuGet store.
What should I download?
We
Any of
could
them? Can I download one?
We could try some of these in a bit. Why don't you go
Okay.
ahead and we'll do some NuGet packages in a little while. Let's look at what else is in the solution first.
Oh, you used the word
So-
solution again.
So in Visual Studio, there are solutions and projects. So you can have multiple projects in a solution, but a solution's just kind of like a container for
Is it like a mono repo?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
Oh.
It's just kind of a hierarchy. So the solution is like your SRC, like source folder, and then
Okay.
you might have multiple code bases under there. So we've got your app properties. Probably nothing in there that's going to interest us today.
Oh, I'm double checking. Smab was saying that we need to search and browse, not installed. Ah. And there's a
Yeah.
console, a terminal, and a package manager command line in VS as well.
There
Ah!
There are command line tools, but I mean, there's plenty of documentation on how to use them and everything. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Visual Studio, you might as well just click
Use
on the
Visual
GUI
Studio.
and bring it up.
So
Launch
do we have
settings has some
this guy?
stuff about like what port you want to launch the app on and stuff like that. But again, there's more advanced features that we don't really need to know today. It's already got these things in by default, and like you saw when you hit run, it just worked. So here's where the good stuff is. www.root. This www.root folder is a convention that all ASP.NET or all web.NET apps use as its static resource folder. So that's your environment one. You want the editor, text editor.
automatic, or actually look for the word text
And
editor?
On the text editor, you can actually zoom in without doing this.
Not doing. Hang
Hit cancel.
on.
In the bottom left-hand corner of the editor, there's a percentage. Nope, up a little bit more.
Oh, thank you.
You can zoom with that.
I
You
was
can
like
control
super
mouse wheel
overwhelmed.
in there too, and it'll
Oh,
zoom as well.
control mouse wheel. Let's try it. Oh,
You
bad.
got to click on the editor text stuff first.
You do? Like highlighted or?
No, just control mouse wheel in with your cursor on it. Yeah.
Oh, I understand. Cool. So, sorry, we are inside our www root, and this is our
So
Index file.
www.root is all the static files. So this is not application code, but like our CSS, our like fave icons, any images you want to put in your app. Like if you had a background image, you'd
It
have
ships
like an
with
image
Bootstrap?
folder.
Does it really?
It does
Always?
ship with Bootstrap. Yes, but it's
Oh.
easy to remove.
Womp womp.
You don't want to do that right now though, because the demo app that comes with it uses it pretty heavily. So nothing will look
You're
right.
saying it's going to be gorgeous if I do it.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, there's one easy way to find out, right? Can't we just say like, is it control / Is that a real thing? I'm making things up
That
now.
does not work in here.
What the frick am I supposed to do about it?
The control keys for commenting something out are very convoluted in Visual Studio, and it's annoying. So
How do you comment?
they're up at the top, like around the word Nuget, on the above that. See that? Whoop, you were just on it. That icon to your right. Click on that. If you hover over it, you can see the controls.
No.
You can see the command for it. So it's Control K and then Control C to comment, and then it is a different one to on comment.
K, Control C. Wait, what?
That's to comment. There's another key command to on comment.
Control K, Control
U.
What?
Who thought that was a good idea?
Mark.
I don't know. But Visual Studio Code has it right, and Visual Studio has it wrong. I can tell you that.
Okay, hang on. First of all, there's no way to actually uncomment this line. I just tried Control K, Control U a bunch of times, and this button's not doing anything. Do you have to highlight the line? What's the?
I think so. You
how do you?
have to, but
hang on. Let's.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Let's brain this together.
What it's supposed to do.
Oh, now it can undo. Okay, there. I don't know. It didn't recognize it. Like, okay, hang on. Control K, Control C, Control K, Control U. Okay, I got it. I'm with you now. I could never. A button seems so ridiculous. Even with the four key presses, button seems so. Okay, I'm with you.
So while you're in here, there's probably something in here that is similar to Angular. At least last time I did Angular, which was around Angular 2, Angular 3 days. This is how it worked. Inside of your body of your HTML index.
Yes.
Do you see the div ID app? And it has the word loading?
Yep.
Okay. So I believe Angular either used to have this concept or still does, where it has either an app tag or a specific tag that it loads all of your application inside of. And that is hence your SPA application. So like all the components that you write get rendered inside of that tag.
Where's the matching the JavaScript's the wrong word file for this that is like plugging in stuff to
Okay, so the index.html does not have a code behind at all.
Okay, but like somebody's telling something to happen, like the router or
there is something that tells the application to load into that div.
Yeah.
So that is your app.razor file.
I don't see it.
So there's one called app.razor.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Nope, sorry, I told you the wrong one. Try program CS. I always get this messed up. There we go. So builder.root component add equals app. You see that line 18?
Yep.
There it is.
Oh.
That is what.
Who is this builder? Let me type it.
So this uses a builder pipeline. So this is how you configure things in your application and add dependency injection.
You're saying builder pipeline, like that means something to anyone. It doesn't.
So .NET has shifted to a little bit of a functional programming style over the years.
Okay.
And it uses a lot of pipelines to do things. So these are configuration pipelines. So you have basically an object that you tack on different things to, and it gets resolved at the end with a build command. So you'll see this quite often. So you'll say like thing.configure or thing.add over and over and over again, and then at the very end you'll see thing.build, and that configures the entire application or whatever it was.
Okay, so
this
you're saying we've got this builder bud, and he has these methods we can call, this API we can call, and then
Yep.
at the end we have to call build in order for all of this to run. What's
Yep.
this part again?
Build will go through all of the configurations that you set up and build the web application host. So see the initial line there says web assembly host builder. So when you call build, it will actually create that host.
Do you ever have you ever built an app that has like some really funky like routing, or maybe it's like an app within an app or something, and you've had to like customize this? Or do you usually, it's always just like plugging it into app, move on, next?
Yeah, a lot of times you're just plugging stuff in. You don't have to get too far into the weeds on it.
Okay.
Most of the time it's like builder.addService or builder-service.add service. So most of that is just dependency injection.
Okay.
So, but that is where your root component comes from. So it calls builder root component. So you could change the ID of that root component if you wanted to. You
Oh,
can
really?
have multiple root
Oh.
components if you wanted to.
Do you ever do that?
This was an old trick I used before they added support for modifying the head tag. And you could have a root component that was in your head of your application and could control that area as well. But generally, you just have one.
I'm reading the chat. Smab said you don't have to take your finger off the control key. That's good to know, because I was, and that was making it difficult. Mackie said highlight or place the cursor at the beginning of the line. Oh, for comments with the button. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So you've got your static stuff in WW root. Now you know where the root component comes from.
In this one, you said it's mainly dependency injection. Like, that's really the only reason you open up this program.cs file?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
You're going to add dependencies in there a lot.
Okay. And then, let's see. Whoa. That's all I should have said. Thanks. You said this one. Can we talk about this one?
So this is the root component. This is the very first component that gets loaded in the app. So program.cs that we were just in calls the, see the root component.add, and then it says app in brackets.
Yeah.
So see the word add, and to the right of it, the word app.
Yep.
That is your
Is this like
Razor.
Is this typing it, or?
Yes.
What?
So it is adding a root component of app.razor to the app ID inside of html.index.
Okay. So root components, I want to see more about him. Root components collection. So I guess I'm expecting to see, like in Angular, you'll have like your routes and they're like defined, and
yes,
like,
routing is handled through the components of Blazor.
Where, who, what?
So open up app.razor real quick again.
Okay.
And so this is the first component that gets loaded, and it has a router in it. So the router will scan the assembly, and it will look through all of your components, and if they have a route directive on them, it will add a route to the application. So you don't need to specify them in a big manifest somewhere.
I'm confused. Hang on. This is our app.razor file, and it just has a router? Like, that's all that's in here?
It's a router. Mm-hmm. It is your router, and it will act as the root component of your application. So it doesn't have anything really to render. It's just your mainly your router, and it's going to load your main layout.
So that's the confusing part. If we go back over here, oh, it's not running anymore. We'll see if it takes 5 years to load. Hopefully it's quick. Okay, so that's the confusing part, because when you go over here, there's like multiple things like counter, home, fetch data. What this just says main layout. So who's main layout, and where's our other routes?
So it's going to load your main layout, it's also going to get the default route and load that route in. So the default here, if you go under Pages,
I will go under Pages. Oh,
see index.razor.
Yes.
That is your root.
Oh, is this what's defining the route?
Yes.
Really?
So that says
No way.
page / that is your root. And then you have fetch data, and then you have counter. So all pages in Blazor with a route are still components. They are just you're ready to break things, huh?
No, I was just seeing, where's my running thing? How do I get my running thing back? I want to like double tap my mouse.
You can either
It's not a
stop
thing.
it.
Wait, can I just like swipe up and see all my things and click on the thing I want? Like, isn't there a way to like see all my windows?
That's at the bottom. So if you want to look for the browser, there's an icon down at the bottom.
Well, I mean, that's why are there two Chromes? What the frick?
So Blazor .NET Visual Studio runs a debugging instance of Chrome.
Oh, it's not really launching it. Like, could I just grab this though and be like, hi, let's go talk over here. Let's try it.
So you have to rerun the app. You have to recompile the app to get your...
It worked.
Well, yeah, you could do that, but if you want that counters with an S that you put at the end...
Yeah, I do. I really want that.
You have to recompile the app to get that.
Oh, okay. How?
So you can either hit the rerun button. Yeah, that one, the restart. And then this is running with debugging enabled. I usually just, for speed, I just run it without debugging. So see, you change the route to route with an S. So now it's saying there's nothing at that address.
It worked. Wait, but kind of. So it's just like whoever is in charge of this side panel navigation also needs to be updated. So there's only two places really. So it's like at the top of your component and then the nav item.
Yeah. So routing in to a page in Blazor is actually really simple. If you go to shared, the folder called shared.
Oh, right.
There are all of your layouts and shared components and things. So you'll find your nav in there, and then in nav, see counter. It's just an href. So there's no special code or anything to navigate you if you have a link to click on.
Okay, so can you tell me about navlink?
Navlink is just a simple component. And what it does is it gives you two different CSS styles. So there is a match value on there. And if it matches the route that you're on, it will give you a different CSS class so you can style the link that you're sitting on. So if you click on, I don't know why it's not highlighted, but if you click on counter again, because you manually routed to it. No, on the running side. Click on fetch data on the running side.
I don't know what he's talking
on
about.
Chrome.
Over here.
Notice how it's highlighted? See that?
Oh, you're talking about the active state?
Yep. So that's all Navlink does. If the route matches, the route you specified in the Navlink matches the page that you're on,
yes,
then it will highlight that button for you.
Can you? Okay, there's got to be some magic behind the scenes that makes that happen. No? Oh, that's
in the
Navlink component.
Yeah, it's a component.
Oh, hold on. I bet there's a way to look at it.
The component has some code. There's no way to look at the Navlink component without going to the source code on GitHub.
Hang on. I bet you anything there's a way to look at it. Insert surround with view in browser.
Yeah, you have to go to GitHub and look through the source code to find it.
He doesn't believe me that there's a way. There's got to be a way.
You could also look at the decompiled code, but it's not going to help you as much.
I thought there'd be like a little window here that would pop up with the
if
source.
you wrote the code, if you had the source code in your project, it would do that. But this is This is compiled code that you're getting. So
I gotcha. So I reran it. I just wanted to make sure it's actually happy with our lives. Oh no. Oh yeah? Maybe. Who knows? Nope.
Your app's not running anymore.
Oh, is there a way of like making it crash or something? Like, did I do that?
I think you closed the debugging instance.
Oh, and that makes it stop running.
Yeah, it stopped the server, so then it stopped the other tab.
Debugging instance.
Yep.
Okay, and then, so can you show me where, like, to read about? Like, I would just assume that it would be under, Novlink Blazor. I don't know. And you're not actually spelling it right. Like that? Is that how like, if you want to know what all it includes and how to utilize its features?
So there's 2 links there that you can use. There's the official docs. And then I know you've probably seen Mr. Magoo, Blazor Mr. Magoo in our chat before.
Yeah.
He owns the Blazor University site.
Oh, really? How cool.
Did I get that right? Is that the right person?
I will look with my lookers. One sec. I'm looking.
I hope I'm giving credit to the right person.
I'm looking at Peter Morris.
Oh, sorry, that's Peter Morris's website, not Mr. Magoo. My bad.
What if Mr. Magoo is Peter?
Peter's in our chat room a lot as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I had the wrong name. But yeah, that's a fantastic resource as well.
Sorry about that. Sorry, that was on me, guys.
Every time you close your debugger, it's gonna kill
I don't know how to get used to the debugger window because I just want it to be over here in this browser. How do you handle that? There's no way to do that?
You can run without debugging is what you'd have to do.
Well, explain to me the debug window, first of all. Like, is there something special it gives us?
Yeah, so this is attaching a debugger to the application. So go to counter.razor in Visual Studio.
Okay, I will go. Counter.razor. I'm here.
And on the code window, like on the left side of the numbers, like line 14, see that little gray bar to the left? If you click in there, you can add a breakpoint.
Yeah.
Okay, now go back to your debug window and click on counter. See it jumped over to Visual Studio again?
Can't you just do this with this and then...
You can, but you have a better experience in... so this is .NET code. So you're not going to see like JavaScript running in the browser anywhere to debug it. It does attach stuff to the browser that you can see and C# code, but you have better tooling in Visual Studio to help.
Okay,
you debug.
so like
so
even
highlight
if we're like debugging, like because I get we're in .NET, not everything's going to be able to be seen in the Chrome Dev Tools, so you don't want to use the Chrome Dev Tools like you usually do. But what about like CSS stuff? Like, do I use?
Yeah,
this?
You still use use Chrome DevTools for that.
Okay.
You can still use Chrome DevTools here. It's a little bit harder to find than just snapping a breakpoint right there and it automatically hitting it. Okay. So if you go over to the word current count and highlight it.
Current count.
Just put your mouse over it.
Oh.
Just set your mouse.
Oh my.
There you go. So it's at 0 because it hasn't counted up yet, but it's telling you the value of current count. So if you hit continue, you got to put your breakpoint back.
I don't understand
it. Hit continue up at the top, and then click the button again. So it'll break a second time. Now it'll show you that it's sitting at 1.
Okay.
So it hasn't incremented yet. So you're still saying the count before it's been incremented. That's what count plus plus does. So it says, give me the current value and then add 1. That hasn't executed yet.
Yeah. I'm still trying to see the value in this. How do
There's a lot of value here. Okay. So you start putting a lot more code on the page and, there's an error somewhere.
Yeah.
You need to,
yeah. So there are people who debug their apps with breakpoints. And then there are people who debug their apps with console logs.
Those are called junior developers, Alyssa. The other folks are called senior developers.
Shut up, Ed. I like me.
No offense, we need both. I mean, there's plenty. I'm not disparaging junior developers. I'm just saying, like, you have to grow skills over time.
And we'll use the breakpoints.
Yeah.
Hang on.
You can't do console.log. You can do console.writeLine. So .NET uses writeLine instead.
Like this, or
yes, and then you put the thing that you want to write out there. Yeah, you can do that.
That actually work, but where would it
that
print
does
it?
work. So you need to rerun the app because it's a compiled app, so you need to rerun it. Continue is not going to do it though. You need to hit the restart button.
Yeah, that's gonna be really
the other one, the one that goes counterclockwise.
What the frick?
I know it's like mission control here. I know Visual Studio. The first time I ever used
very
it,
overwhelming.
I think I uninstalled it. I was like, "This is too much." I don't.
Very
I
overwhelming.
did the
Okay.
same thing with
Yeah, where
Photoshop. It's very Photoshop like.
is it?
So click on your counter again,
Okay.
and then it hit a breakpoint. So
Yeah.
you can either toss
But the
that
log should
breakpoint-
still have happened.
Yeah.
Where?
So you need to find the right output window. It's hard to see because you've got it. Yeah. So output is down in the right-hand corner.
Oh.
And then, yeah, there should be a drop down in here.
I don't
there it
understand.
is. Okay.
Like, is it up in here? Up in here? You know what's oh yeah, I bet it's just 0 because I did it before that line. So
Oh,
I think
yep,
if we
that's
like
it.
make it
It's a
run
0.
again, because I didn't put like
Yeah, just click the button a couple times.
this
Take the breakpoint away first.
the button a couple.
Take the
times.
breakpoint off so it'll quit hitting it.
Take the breakpoint
There you go.
off. And
Now
click
click a
the
few more
button.
times.
It's not working. Gotta do
Because
all
you're still in break mode. Hit
buttons.
continue. Continue.
What the frick is continue?
The play button. Continue. It's still in break mode.
Ah.
There you go. Now click away.
There we go. Okay. Now we're in business. I gotcha. Okay. So this is my output. These are can we do a quick tour of what is this? What is
Sure.
this?
So if you put your breakpoint back,
Put my breakpoint.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and click on the button again.
The
So it's-
button.
Yep. So it's in break mode. So now you're in debug mode. Now click back into into Visual Studio. Check the immediate window, not intermediate. The immediate window.
Can we do things like 1 + 1 here? No.
Oh
yes!
sorry, I'm on the.
What? Sorry.
I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I wanted the left side, the autos. So autos is
This?
automatically looking for the things that you might want to debug. And notice current count is already in that window and it shows you the value of it. So you don't have to highlight the thing in like we did earlier. It's actually just telling you what it is.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What?
If you have a complex object, see the one that says
wait.
this.
Is this here because the breakpoint's on it, or is that here because it's the only variable that's
It's because
available?
that variable is in scope where the break happened.
Oh, so it is because of our breakpoint.
Yes. So if you had other variables in scope, they would show up here.
Oh, this is
So
cool. That's cool.
So if you drop this thing down, there's all of the values. So you can dig into, this is essentially the counter component as a whole. And you can see current count is also in there. So,
Okay, so like has never rendered. Is that a browser thing or is that a .NET thing? I'm
It's a Blazor thing. So
a
these
Blazor
are
thing.
these are internal values of the counter component that you're seeing.
Okay.
So
Wait, counter
these are
component.
properties of the
If
counter
has
component.
never rendered is a property on our component, where is that defined? Like where?
It is
Where?
generated.
Oh,
So it's not something that you wrote. It's part of the base component.
every component has it?
Every component has it.
Okay. Can we make a new component?
Yeah, of course. It's really
How?
easy.
How do we do it? How?
So go to the index page real quick after you go ahead and stop the server.
Okay.
So let's do a little bootstrap because it's already there and it's easy.
What do you want me to do?
So do div.
Like, whoa. Sorry. I'm still not used to this keyboard either. Okay, so div and then what do you want?
Give it a class of alert. And then space alert danger. All right, cool. All right, so put some text in there. And then run it. And you can hit Control F5 and it'll just run it without the debugger, and it makes this just go a lot faster.
That was faster.
And notice it's in your tab. So that is not a component. That is just HTML.
Right, yeah.
So let's go. You don't have to stop the server because you're not debugging. So it's just going to let you keep coding.
Oh,
so
okay,
go,
cool. Wait, what's
so
the what's the F5 button for doing it with a debugger?
It is just F5.
Oh. Okay, anyways. So you want to teach me how, is it like Nuget, new component, Blazor, go?
Let's go ahead and create a folder. Let's create a folder called components. So go to
Where's my terminal?
My first Blazor app. Just stop with the terminal. See the My First Blazor app?
I'll just CD over to the app.
No, stop it. Stop it. You're going to learn how to do things faster. See the My First Blazor app?
No.
At the top.
Thought I would have found it in the terminal
solution.
by now. My first Blazor app. Oh, my whole app. Yes.
Yeah. Right click. Add.
Add what?
Click add. Just
I don't
down.
see
It says add. Folder.
New folder.
Called
And
components.
Oh. But our other components aren't in there.
Nope. I'm gonna show you something. Okay. Now right click again. Add. New Razor component. It's up at the top.
Oh no.
Call it alertbox.razor.
Oh, okay. Like this or like
capital A.
Like that.
So Blazor, we use capital letters for our components because lowercase assumes that that is an HTML element.
Oh, I want to do the thing. Okay, don't tell me. Hang on.
So take your... Okay,
no.
go ahead.
Wait, this one. That page, this one's page. Wait, hold on. I can do this. Ha-ha! I am a genius! There's no stopping me now! What did we name it? Alert box. I don't know. I probably just broke all the conventions.
No,
did I do it right?
You're just giving it a route. You need double quotes, though. That single quote stuff is for JavaScript-y people.
Understand. You can't just intermix them?
No, they mean different things in .NET.
What does a single quote mean?
Double quotes in .NET is a string. Single quotes in .NET is a character.
What's a character?
Literally a character, like A, B, C.
So a string
on its own.
One thing in it?
No, it is a character.
All right, I'm going to Google this later.
A string with one thing in it is a string with one thing in it. A character is a character. They are two completely different types.
No, Ed. No.
Yes. Yes. Chat loves this, by the way.
Do they? I miss chat. I hate not seeing their faces.
LOLOL here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. It is also a string that contains 5 characters.
Okay, hang on. I need actually I'm gonna just like make a sticky note real quick because I need to look up what is it. I need to study types in .NET or types in Blazor.
Yes.
Whose types are these?
Types. C# types.
Okay. C#. Okay.
C# types.
I will do that. I'll if anybody has like a really fun like I'm sure there's like a learning C# types.
There's like a
for
list
your
of
2-year-old
somewhere.
Like
they have a really simple like chart of all the types somewhere. I've seen it a million times.
Okay. So this is hang on. I want to look at our counter one because this is where our code is defined, kind of like our constructor, or I guess we could maybe put a constructor inside of this code.
I think you're getting way ahead of yourself. So you've got a route. Now you can route to your alert. So that will just basically display the alert all by itself.
All by itself. We don't need that.
We really don't need the route, so you can take the route off.
Okay.
So not all components need routes, but all pages need routes.
Okay.
So go back to your
Do
index
I need
page.
to save as I go, or does it save for me?
It'll save if you run it, but you don't need to worry about it. It'll rerun your app, I think, even though we're not debugging. It should rerun it. But anyhow, go over to index.razor and grab your HTML.
Oh yeah, let's do this, and then we'll do this. No, is it like that?
Capital A. Yep. Hit enter.
Ah!
And I'll explain in a second what this is. Okay, I did this on purpose.
We broke the internet.
Nope, it's fine. It's actually gonna work.
Okay.
Go back to alert box and paste your markup. Okay, hit save and Control F5, or see if you can refresh the browser. If it'll, there you go. So there you go. Your component is rendered.
Working.
It's working.
But we can't
so let's
delete
explain
this. Can we delete
what all of that? Yeah, let's explain what all of that is. So this is a namespace.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is namespacing your component by convention to the name of your app, my first Blazor app.
Yes.
The folder that it resides in, components.
Yes.
And then the name of the name of the file.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. My first Blazor app.components.razor is the full namespace for that component. If you do not want to write that out every time you use an alert box, you can go up to the top of the page.
Whose page?
Go up to the top where
This
it says
page?
page / yeah. Doesn't matter if it's before or after this. I generally put them after. So go after that. And
You're
create
saying
new
make a
line.
new line, and we're gonna give it like
Say
a synonym.
At using.
Ooh.
This is similar to an imports in JavaScript. So you'll say at using, and then type out the first half of that. The my first
in a
Blazor
string or
app.component.
just by itself. String?
Just no, not a string.
No string.
It's a type. So in .NET we don't use magic strings all over the place. That's just messy. So the compiler understands what that is. Now you can go down.
I don't know. It's like all
that
funky.
from the name of your component.
You see how
Because
funky this is?
It's seeing that you're not using it somewhere. Oh. So when you erase that, it will light up. Or
Whoa!
It should light up.
It just deleted it from both spots. Funny.
Yep.
Okay, wait. But what if we had another one that was like components phase 2?
You have to
And
list
then
each of those. Now, go over to.
oh, you're saying you can only have one shortcut per file?
If there were multiple components under that folder, you wouldn't have to type in each individual one. But if it was my app.razor components 2 or
Yeah.
Alyssa's components, you'd
Yes.
have to put another using statement.
But see, what I'm trying to get at is how does it know which one's coming from where? Because like then we would have like a components and a components 2 folder, and down here we would have 2 different alert boxes. How does it know which one?
If you have an alert in both, then you'd have to use the full namespace for one.
Okay. Cool. You were showing me something. What?
Yeah.
What?
Go over to the counter page
This one is the counter page.
and try to put an alert box in the markup up there.
Okay.
Open your. You need a bracket first.
Well, tab won't do it for me.
You didn't type the.
Yeah. If I
You
do
got to
this,
start with.
if I do this and then I do tab in like an HTML file, it'll like turn it into an
You
element.
have to have the opening element tag first, and then backspace a little bit because it's not. There you go. Now it's red underscores. So yeah, you'd have
can we
to
put this in
add-
the root of our app so everybody uses
That's
it?
what I was going to show you. Yes, exactly. So instead of putting it at the top of every component, you can take that out. And there is a file called imports.razor. There you go. and you can stash it
Oh
there.
no.
Now all of
This
the
seems like it's
Razor,
gonna be pretty no fun for like, like if there's like mix and match on like, you're pulling in things and they all have matching names. No, this doesn't
so
happen
that
often.
doesn't happen a lot because, for example, with the Telerik stuff, we use Telerik Grid or Telerik whatever. So we have a unique name
Oh,
on all of our components. So it's not just button, it's Telerik button.
okay.
So we don't run into those conflicts.
It's angry at us like we're not using this, but I beg to differ.
Yeah, that's just, it's just, it doesn't have context of all of the other files that it's being used in. So it's just thinking
Can
you're
we
not
give
using
it
it.
context?
No,
No.
just ignore it. Just close
Just
it and,
close it.
and you're
I'm
good to
closing
go.
it. And I want to see if it's running, so I'm going to do this button again. Oh, it's opening a new one every time I do that.
Yeah, it will. You can.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
it's in both
just
places.
refresh it. So there you go. You have a component. So you made a
It
component.
worked. It worked.
Now
Wait.
let's have some fun with this.
Are we not
So-
concerned that our other components aren't with us?
Other components aren't with us.
Yeah, we got like pages and all this other stuff. It's like what
Yeah.
are we?
So pages are components that have routes generally.
Okay.
Shared, I think, is used a little too loosely. It's kind of like your junk drawer at home. Everybody just dumps crap in there. I would put my components that are
God.
being used in the project in a folder.
Okay.
I'd put all of my layouts in my shared folder, and maybe the navigation is fine.
Okay.
Other than that, I just kind of ignore that folder.
Okay.
This is just my workflow. Some people they're like shared, it's all shared. But that's some people.
Okay.
So let's do a little something with your alert box.
Yeah.
It's a component, but it really doesn't do anything. It just shows some static text, and it's always red. That's kind of useless. So go down to the code block, and we're going to add a parameter to your alert box. So yeah, first of all, put it in a square braces, because this is an attribute. We talked about attributes before. And yeah, type in parameter. There you go. So this is an attribute is kind of a decorator that tells the compiler that this is the special thing in some way. So either on the same line or below it, add a property. And to add a property, you either need a space or hit enter. Type public, because all parameters are public. Because
I was trying to add a property with a period.
We assign a parameter from the outside, so it needs to be public so other classes can see it. And then go ahead and call this one a string. We're going to accept a string.
You actually want me to type the word string?
Yep, this is going to be a string input. And
Like
then,
this? Don't mean to do this thing with the thing and then like
no,
that.
that is generic typing. That is a whole different thing that we could talk about
God.
another time.
Okay. Public string
Space,
Bob.
and then yeah, name it. Let's call it CSS, capital CSS class.
Like that?
That's fine. You could lowercase the s's if you wanted to.
Oh, but it's an acronym.
Either's fine. Usually that's the way it's written, but
Okay.
you know, that's a matter of taste.
Okay.
Curly braces, and inside the curly braces you want get semicolon set semicolon.
Like wait, semicolon. No. This one?
Semicolon. Both of them, get and set. There you go.
Oh, do we usually
And-
define things after get and set, or what's up with it? What's
So get and set are implicit, so that means you can type them without giving them instructions of what to do, and the compiler will make the code that it needs to get and set the property.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of compiler magic. That's one of the nice things about having a compiler in .NET is it does things for you. So this now made a parameter that we can set on our component. Let's make use of it. Also, we can give it a default here. Yeah, you can put that all in one line if you want.
I'm not a monster.
Actually, that's how they're written.
That's how they're.
Yeah. If they're just a getter and setter, they're often on the same line. If there's code, then they usually break out.
Okay.
So let's give it a default. So after the last curly brace, say
Yeah.
equals. And what this is telling the compiler is when this class gets initialized, we're going to set this value to it. So yeah, this would be the default. Go ahead and make it alert danger. Okay. Now go up to the alert danger that is in the class and type the @ symbol. No, we're not going to use those. We don't do mustaches here. This is Razor. So the @ symbol opens up a code template. So now we're in code mode. So type in CSS class and notice it picked it up automatically for you.
We did it.
Yeah, it did.
Wait, I can't make it happen again. There we go. You're talking about this?
Yep.
This thing, and then I press enter. You're saying, okay, I gotcha. And then
That's it.
is
Hit save and run the app again. It should look the same. So nothing should be broken.
I don't know if it's running. I think I pressed F5.
Try Control F5.
I did it.
Oh, okay. There it goes.
Okay.
So good. So far, so good. It's the same. That's what we want. Now go to the index page and set it to alert-info.
The index page, set it to alert-info.
So
What?
on the alert box.
You want like a class or what? I'm confused.
Yeah, hit space. And now see you've got a property for it. Ooh, that's the one you made. So alert-info. And what it's going to do is going to take that value and it's going to inline it into that alert box.
No. Wait. Hang on. Hold on. How? What would it? What's the? Can I see the compiled code?
You don't want to see the compiled code. It's a lot of gibberish.
I want to see what this turns into. I want to see the long form of get and set.
Oh wow! You really want to see it? We can type it.
I want to know what it looks like.
How long do you have today? You want to do it? We can do it.
Is it really that painful? What is it? Can you?
It's not that painful.
I want to see.
Make some space above the code block, above the parameter there, inside the code block.
Inside the code block above here. Okay.
So type a. You don't need
and we're
that
like
much.
do this, but then like copy it and then like change it.
No. Just put. We don't need all. Hang on. We will write this by hand. We'll do all the things the compiler is doing by hand.
Okay. Yeah.
So type string. Underscore. Lowercase CSS class with a.
Camel case, or I guess lower camel case. Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. And then semicolon. Now go down to your get and set.
These guys?
Yeah. So replace the semicolon with another curly brace. And then inside that you want return.
Ooh.
Underscore CSS class. You really want to learn the hard way.
Yay! This is going to be so fun.
Okay,
Hold on.
semicolon.
We should put this on its own line.
Yeah, you can do that now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and that's just the default. Oh, so we could technically maybe do something like this. CSS. Oops. Class. Oops. Oh gosh. Control C. Why? And then I want to say
because you're not in a method or a property.
Okay, so that's you can't. Okay, I'm with you.
Yep.
And then on my return CSS class,
you want a semicolon there. So you're returning that field that we created up top. Now in the set, you change the set. So set is going to be erase the return. So a set doesn't return a value; it sets a value.
Right.
So
is equal to like whatever the flip is passed in.
Yeah, equals value.
Who's where? How do we?
Value is understood.
Value's understood. Implicit. I love it. I love it. So I can't name something value because it's taken?
Yes, that is a keyword.
Okay.
So value.
Why is it so angry? Okay, there we go.
Value is coming in, and then you can't set a default this way.
Oh.
So
really?
You need to take that off.
I would have thought you could still do it somewhere in here, like in here, maybe. No?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
And then the default would actually be set when the object is constructed. So you would go to, so constructors are kind of weird in Blazor because they're not normal classes.
Okay.
Trying to think if...
Will this work? Is this going to make it info?
You could say in the string, just set the string at the top where it says underscore CSS.
Yeah.
Do equals at the end of that one.
Yeah. This? And we can just be like alert. Yeah?
Yeah, that should work. I don't think that matches exactly what the compiled code would be, but it's close enough.
Let's see if we even... Oh, shut up. It works.
So that is actually what it's creating for you under the hood. So
how cool!
When you put the get set with just the
yes,
just the semicolons at the end, it created all of that code for you.
Hang on, one second. I gotta make a note to myself.
So the thing at the top, the underscored version of the property, is called a backing field.
Who?
It's the field. It's called a backing field. It's the
Where?
field that backs the property. The first on line 7. That is called the backing field. It's the field that represents the value of the property, and that is actually created behind the scenes for you when you don't specify it.
Is this like one of those you're not supposed to mess with it?
Yeah.
Type variables. What are they called? Come now. You can't set it, but you can only get it. Help me out here.
A read only.
Yeah, is it like that or no?
It technically is because you're only setting it through the property. But if we called it a read only field, then we'd never actually be able to set it. It is a protected field.
Protected.
Yeah.
Alert.
Mackie says old school getter and setter. Yeah. Those two things are identical right there.
I always get confused on where I need a semicolon. Do I need one here?
Yes.
I do need one here. Well, I need it here?
No.
What the frick?
Because if you didn't set that alert danger default there, you would not have a semicolon at all. It would just be get set curly brace.
Right. I don't understand why you don't. That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to just roll with it, but that doesn't make sense. Okay. Comment those out. So this is the same as that. Mm-hmm. I love it. That's so cool.
Okay, let's do one more thing now.
Okay. Show me.
So right now, all our alert box says is this is not good for you. No matter how many times you create an alert box, that's not useful. So
so you want to make this a variable?
Let's make it so we can have child content. Mm-hmm. So make another parameter.
Okay.
All right, we've got another parameter, and this one is it's always public.
Except for when it's not.
No, parameters will always be public or it will throw an error at you. It's not going to be a string, though. Not a string. Not a string. So this one is going to be a render fragment.
Oh, how fun is that?
So render fragment is different than a string. So render fragment says, hey, Blazor, this can be a snip of HTML. It can be a template. It can be a component, or it could be a combination of all of those things. It is a fragment of a render tree. So that...
Can you say that in a totally different way without any of those words?
It is... basically any HTML or component can go in here.
Okay.
It's not a string. A string is just some text. This
Okay.
is actual something that will either be a component or rendered HTML. So you need so before you go naming it, let's call it child content, and then we can change the name in a minute and I'll show you what the difference is. Give it a getter and setter.
Hang on. Spelling is not apparently happy today. Okay, I'm going to do it like this instead.
Yeah, let's do the easy version so the show doesn't
No,
go
I
on
meant
for days.
instead of putting it on multiple lines. I can't decide if this should be like this. I don't know. Anyways.
So I think you know what to do next. Do you know what to do
Well,
next?
just like replace this and set some default content. So I'm going to be like cut, and then I'll be like at child somebody, and then I'll be like equals blah blah.
So you're good up until this point.
Blah blah blah.
It is not a string.
Oh,
It is
well,
not a
here.
string.
I got you. I got you.
And that is also a string.
I don't like it when you make fun of me. Seriously.
Okay, so you
it
can't
can
do that.
be,
So
and, like, you want me to get rid of this? Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
No, that's not a thing either. So just take the getter and setter off.
Well, how are you?
I mean,
supposed to
sorry,
set
not
a
the getter.
default?
Take the default. So take the default off.
Oh,
You would do the default here would be much different. Let's not worry about that right now. Usually, you don't set default child content. So
Okay.
we just won't worry about it.
All right, I'm gonna go.
It's a little bit more complex. So now, actually run it. Run it.
Run it?
'Cause I want to show you. It's going to blow up, and I want to show you why.
I did the wrong
This
run.
is- That's fine. It's a purposeful, like, we're going to blow this up on purpose and learn something.
Well, we didn't
This is
set
very
it
much on
anywhere,
purpose.
right? So nobody has
Well,
content.
Right
So we've
click
got-
on, hang on, right click on that.
Inspect it. Is that what you want?
Oh, actually, we don't have the error. Okay. No, this is fine. Go ahead and close that. My mistake.
Wait, I need to go to this thing. Wait, where is it? I need. Where's the visuals? The visuals. Oh, it's up here. But then it's plugged in. Where is it plugged in? It's here. Here.
We'll,
And then I wanna
break
do
on
this?
purpose in another scenario.
Content.
Nope, not there, not there, not there, not there. So that is a bad user experience that they did that. So erase all that. That is not where you want to put it. So
Let me guess,
inside,
is it right here.
yeah, there you go. Now you can type in whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's what I like.
and you can take the Now run it. It'll be fine. No errors. You should be perfect.
Wait, hang on. Wait. I saved it. Do I have to? I'm confused. The modes confuse me. I'm going to do the F5 button.
You got to stop this from running first.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Five again.
This will get better with hot reload and .NET 6, but it is pretty sketchy at the moment.
So that, and then
there
this
you
one
go
shouldn't
there.
have anything.
That one doesn't have anything.
So
You want to see something bonkers?
I'm disapproved that you named it child content. So that's like a default thing.
Yeah, I'll explain that in just a second. Go back to
All right.
that real quick. I want to show you something really cool here.
What?
So erase your paragraph.
This.
And and hit enter again and open up a new line.
Hang on. Sorry, I went somewhere with my brain. Open up a new line.
Open a bracket.
Oh, that is very unspecific. I mean, there's a lot of brackets in our
like
world.
a HTML bracket. Yeah. And say counter. Hit enter.
Oh.
Well, close.
tab again?
You can close the.
Why is
close
it not-
I don't know why it didn't automatically do that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, what do you think you're going to see?
Counter in there? Wait, what? Why? Why are all of the... hang on. I'm confused. Counter. Oh, right, because the counter has one as well.
Yeah.
So way to put a whole
even
counter-
though it has a
Oh.
page route, it is still a component.
Hang on, you... What? Hang on.
Even though counter has a route, it is a component.
Oh, that's so cool. Or wait,
Isn't that
do people
neat?
hate that? Do we love
No,
that?
That's very awesome.
Okay, because I think
It's
that's
really
really cool. But I feel like that's one of those things in the industry with it, like I love and that other people hate. So
Well, in Blazor, pretty much everything is just a component, so that makes things really simple. So a component with a route has a route, and it's still a component, so you can do this type of thing with it.
okay, but you would have to enable you would have to enable this. You have to like enable like
That's what
child
render
content as a
fragment gives
parameter.
you.
Oh wait,
That's
that's what
what
render
render
fragment
fragment
gives
gives
me.
Okay.
No.
Now,
Wait.
go back
Hold on.
to...
So child content could be named Bob, is what you're telling me.
It can. Go ahead
Can
and
it?
change it.
I
Go ahead
did.
and change it.
It just changed.
All right. Now, notice it failed.
No, I don't notice that at all.
Because you didn't go up and change the one in your markup. Let's look at the line 2.
Oh, so it really can be.
Yep. Now run it, and it's going to explode, but we want it to.
It's not. I don't see explosions. Are you talking about this really tiny text that
no.
says one failed? Is that your explosion?
Control F5.
Okay.
This is going to be a runtime error, not a compiler error.
Okay. Okay.
Notice it at the bottom. It says unhandled exception has occurred.
Yeah.
So right click.
How do you control Option I or Command Option I? Control. Where's your option? Alt
or hit F11. That'll work too.
That's not what anybody.
Sorry, I meant
wanted.
F12. I meant F12. Hit F11 then F12.
Ah, thank you.
Now look at the error. Look at the error message in the console.
Is it here?
It says
let's look at it.
object of type alert box does not have a property matching the name child content.
I'm confused. Why does it want that? Oh, because it has because it has stuff inside of it. Hang on, let's
Yes.
delete this and let's rerun it and let's see if it's still angry at us.
So
It's
no
not.
error. Because
Okay.
you removed the quote child content from it.
I still kind of
Now-
don't understand because you said this render fragment is the thing that's like empowering us, but it's not. It's the child
back.
content.
Go back and go back to index. Go back to index. You're getting ahead of yourself here. You can put your content back in there. Hit Control
yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
Put your stuff back.
Yeah.
Now create another element around the outside of the counter.
Okay,
So
I can do that. I can
yep,
be all
start
like
a bracket.
section,
Start a bracket.
section.
And
Section.
hang on.
No,
Hang on.
section.
Hang on. You're getting ahead of me again. You're too fast. Stop it. It's a special element. Back up.
Oh, I don't want to make a special element. All right, what is it? What's it called?
Delete that.
That's not what anybody expected to happen.
Delete it. And then type Bob.
Bob? Really?
Capital.
Well, oh,
Capital
right.
B.
It's capital. Right. Oh, can someone please tell me what Command D is in Visual Studio to like select the next thing that's named that? Nobody? Okay, we'll just.
If you just type the first one, it'll complete both.
Oh!
Now run it, and it'll work without that error.
Okay. So this is one of those. It's hiding it behind the scenes where like child
Yes.
content is this.
So if you don't specify it, it assumes there. If go ahead and type child content and replace Bob.
We can do that? Okay, I'm so doing that.
Now, before you do anything else, don't run it yet.
Hang on.
Go back to alert box
Something's wrong. It's angry at us. Well, I mean, we're going to replace Bob.
and change Bob to child content in both places.
You know, you really should show a girl the full way first and then the sneaky way. Just
Well,
saying.
you got ahead of me. You're like, I'm naming it Bob.
No, I'm saying we shouldn't have done the sneaky way first. You should have made me type out this, and then you should have said, but you can actually delete that part. It's not needed. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, this means the same thing, and this will run just fine.
Hang on. We're going. No, it's not. Okay. There it goes. I don't know why my F5 skills are not on par. Okay, so we have no errors. Child content is working as expected, but I need to brain really fast. Which part wasn't needed? So I know this part's not needed unless you have it named something special, which is super great. I can imagine for like building out your own like library of components, and like you need, you know, like you need the customizability. But this isn't needed. And then is there anything that changes in our other file?
No. So if the content is the immediate child of the parent, you don't need to type it. Now, this changes if you have more than one template region for your component. So right now you just have the one.
Oh,
so if you had like a header template and a content template and a footer template, then there'd be 3 properties. They'd all be render fragments. They'd all have special names. You would not use child content.
I don't understand why. They're all their own thing. So why can't they all have their own child content? Right? No. Am I wrong? Oh, because they're inside of one that's
they're
Big
inside
Mama guy.
Okay. If there were components, they could have their own child content. But these are just template regions. So if you think about it, if you have multiple template regions and you just type in something in the immediate child area, it doesn't know which template you're talking about. Okay. So you have to explicitly name them if there's more than one.
So I'm going to go ahead, and this is going to be Alyssa's rule of thumb as she goes forth into Blazor. And I'm just going to leave it because I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget once I start, because I'm going to have multiple.
And I'm going to have multiple, they won't be called child content.
Right. But this is Alyssa's cue of, you got to name it something special, girlfriend. Right? That's my... It's gonna make you like have one of those like eye twitches, isn't it? Every time you like... I'm gonna like show Fritz on our next episode like what I've built and like just see if he mentions it. Like
So this is how easy the component model is, though. So anything you want to pass into the component, you declare as a parameter, and you set its type if it's a string, or if it's going to be content, then it's render fragment. If you're modifying CSS, then it's just a string. If you want to pass it some data, you can. Anything you want to open up to the outside world is a parameter. That's pretty much it.
You know about testing, right?
I do.
Well, I just didn't know, not right now, because like our show time is coming to a close. But I didn't know if you could help me write like a quick test for something next time. Like,
I can. Tests are a little bit more complex, but
they are.
Yeah.
I should be scared. Just to let you know, I've never mastered testing on any platform. It will be the first time.
I wouldn't start with Blazor if I was going to learn testing.
Okay.
I would start with just regular
with Win UI.
Just not even. I wouldn't worry about a UI part of it. I would just do straight .NET code and test the .NET code.
That's hella boring. Don't you want to like test fun things?
We can actually do some exercises with that are pretty fun.
So if I wanted to write some .NET code, what file would that be in? Like
you would start a new project if you were going to just do like a test project. Yeah, you just start a brand new project and test it. Okay, so how much more time do we have?
Well, we are 12 minutes over our slotted time, but I can go longer if you can. So
is there anything else you want to learn?
So I just wanted to do a review of like, so as I start to build out the well, first of all, I feel like this is a lot of boilerplate to clean up. Like, is it not? I don't know. Like, whenever you start a new app and you're like, okay, I don't need all of this.
Yeah.
Is there like a command to run to like have a clean app, like with just nothing?
There might be a like community like blank template somewhere, but there's not one out of the box.
Okay, so you just go through manually.
I usually just manually delete a couple files and fix the broken bits. And
very cool. And then are we using CSS, SCSS? What's happening?
It's just regular CSS right now.
Is it? Where is it? I don't see it.
It's all in Bootstrap.
Oh, app CSS.
Bootstrap and app, yeah.
So do we have individual like component CSS files or no?
You can do CSS isolation. So I know Angular and React have these as well.
Yeah.
I think both you and I are on the same page, though, that we don't like that.
I don't.
So
know.
I just use Sass. I
Okay.
personally just use
I
Sass.
just didn't
But
know if
you can do that in here.
Like, even with that, without the, like, if you organize
think-
things all inside this folder, or if you ever have CSS that's floating out elsewhere.
Yeah, so if you look under, scroll down on shared,
Yeah.
and see navbar has an arrow.
Oh.
Yeah. Ooh, see that? So
Oh.
that main layout CSS applies only to that component and is
Oh.
very highly specific.
Okay.
There's a very highly specific selector that gets attached through the compiler. So if you want to see that, I can show you what it looks like.
Yes.
So
Wait.
if
Where?
you open the browser
Yes.
to your app,
Yes.
right click and do the old inspect element.
F12, right?
Yeah. Check out the elements and look for one that's sitting on the main layout.
That's going to be...
So yeah, page. The
Page?
div class page. See that wonky like gibberish that's in there, the attribute?
Yeah. Yeah. That's because that's exactly what Angular
That's
does.
the isolate. Yes.
Yeah, with
That's the
its
isolation.
view. They call it view encapsulation, but it's just, I'm assuming it's the same thing where it's
Yeah, same thing.
per
If you
that
look,
component.
Yeah, if you look at the CSS below, it's got that highly specific selector that's selecting the attribute.
CSS below. What are you talking about? Down here? If I
look.
scroll down?
Yeah. See page. Whoa. Scroll up. Page, bracket, gibberish.
Yeah. Yep.
It's selecting it by that attribute in addition to the class. So that makes it almost impossible to change the value of it. So if you had another file in here that had a page selector on it, then that page selector would not hit because of the attribute that is with it. So that to me is just annoying because I usually need to change CSS values, and this makes it nearly impossible to do that.
No, I oftentimes will turn off because so even like in Angular, with our like alert box, we would create an alert box CSS file or Sass file. And if I wanted to, I could, inside of the component file, turn off that view encapsulation and set it to none. And that way, like the styles would just cascade like normal, but I would still have that separate file for my alert box custom styles. So there's kind of like a global and then like per component basis is kind of how I've been rolling. So I didn't know if you still do that or if you just kind of live in app CSS or...
I don't think there's a way to turn it off, but you can put a pseudo class on it, pseudo selector on it. And I can't remember if it's like :root or what it is. It's whatever it is in Angular and React. I think it's the same here. But there's no way to do it for the file. You have to go into the CSS and specify it there that it's available.
Yeah, I know. Well, with with Angular, it was like ng deep was one of the ways, and they just
deep. That's what it is.
They what do you call it? Deprecated that.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's just because it's like built in now that you can disable it. So I wonder if React still has that.
Yeah, there's no way to disable it as far as I know. As long as it's in that file, it's going to get scoped.
So you
But
usually
you
just do
can-
everything here is how you roll? That's how you...
Yeah,
You
you
live your
can do
life?
the : deep selector on all of the values that you want to be in the global CSS namespace.
All I can hear is that TikTok song. Every time the word deep. Okay.
But that would be really annoying, I think, to have to specify deep. I don't see in the docs that there's a way
I don't know if it's like needed. Like I'm fine with organizing things, especially if like, because once you're like, let's say we're inside of one global style sheet. If we're using Sass or SCSS, then at that point we can go ahead and kind of make our own encapsulation based on, the component or whatever it is we need. So I agree with you. I'm living that life. I am so grateful for you for sticking with it. And I know I'm not the easiest person to teach. So
You made a
appreciate you.
component.
I did. I am so excited. The next step is for me in my spare time I'm going to start making, at least I think, a to-do app, just like check boxes and like adding it. And I'm really, really excited because
So
Wait,
I've
what?
got a link for that. There's actually a tutorial to do that.
Yay! Because I want to do it, and then I want to show you what I've done, and then I want you to like poke at it with a stick.
And I think you're going to find that it's way more easy than you thought. So you're going to be like, wow, it only took like a few minutes. What?
I'm so excited.
And
Oh my goodness. What is everybody saying in chat? I feel so bad. Old school getters and setters, Control Shift I. Ooh, what's that do? Is that the thing I was asking for? Hang on. Hold on.
don't know.
Control Shift I. Do you not use hotkeys, Ed?
I rarely use them for too much in Visual Studio.
Control Shift I. Oh, that brings up the find, like the little search,
So
buddy.
I pasted that for everybody else. I'll private chat it to you as
Thank
well.
you. Yes.
But
I'm pulling it up right now.
that is the to-do list app. And it only takes a few minutes really to run through.
Oh, in the browser. I'm like over here in Visual Studio. I appreciate you so much, Ed and chat. Thank you for this fun. Next week, same time, same bat channel. Jeff Fritz is coming on, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the history of .NET in general with the ecosystem, and maybe I will have some advancement on my first Blazor app that he can talk about with me, and maybe, I don't know, who knows, maybe my convention of putting child content just right there, maybe he'll love it, you know, who knows, I don't know.
Such a trendsetter.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Ed. I hope your afternoon is marvelous, and thank you, chat, for the lively fun.
Thanks, Liz.
Bye, guys.
Bye.